Welcome, everyone. We're about to dive into one of the most powerful, raw, and just deeply human stories in all of Scripture. It's a story about a love so intense that 7 years of backbreaking labor felt like just a few days. But it's also a story of a betrayal so deep, it literally changed the course of history. We're talking about Jacob, Laban, and the messy but beautiful way God works through even our biggest mistakes.
So, let me just start by asking you this. What is the price of true love? It's a question we all think about, isn't it? Well, for the man in our story, Jacob, the price would be 14 years of his life, a family completely torn apart by jealousy, and a really painful confrontation with his own past. Let's see how this incredible journey gets started.
Okay, so try to picture this. Jacob is a man on the run. He has just deceived his own blind, elderly father, Isaac, to steal the blessing that was meant for his older brother, Esau. Now he's fleeing for his very life, and he arrives totally exhausted and all alone at a well in a foreign land called Haran. He's got nothing but the clothes on his back and a heavy history of deceit following him.
And it's right there, at what is probably his lowest point, that God brings him the greatest gift of his life. He looks up and he sees a shepherdess, Rachel. And in that one single moment, his entire world just shifts. You see, this wasn't just some random encounter. This was a divine appointment that was about to set the course for the rest of his life. So Jacob, this fugitive with absolutely nothing to his name, goes to Rachel's father, a man named Laban, and he makes this incredibly bold proposal. See, he doesn't have any silver or gold to offer for a dowry. All he has is his own 2 hands. So what does he do? He offers the only thing he has, himself. His words in Genesis show just how devoted he is. "I'll work for you 7 years in return for your younger daughter Rachel." He was willing to become a servant, all for the woman he loved.
And just like that, the next chapter of his life begins. It's a long period of service, and it's all driven by this one single promise. One day, he would marry Rachel. Let's just stop and think about that number for a second. 7 years. That's over 2,500 days. Think about the seasons changing, the years just rolling by, all of it spent in hard, physical labor, tending flocks, dealing with the blazing heat and the bitter cold, fighting off predators. And every single one of those days was fueled by the promise of one thing, and one thing only: Rachel. It is an almost unbelievable picture of devotion.
And right here, Scripture gives us this beautiful little window into Jacob's heart. It says that for him, those 7 long years seemed like only a few days because of his love for her. Wow! His passion, his love was so profound that it literally changed how he experienced time and trial. It's such a powerful reminder for us. A God-given purpose can make even the heaviest sacrifices feel light.
All right, so the 7 years are finally done. The wedding feast is ready. Jacob's long wait is about to be rewarded. But as the celebration gets going, a shadow of deceit, a shadow that Jacob knows all too well, is creeping into the picture.
Jacob had paid his price. He'd paid it in full. He had held up his end of the bargain. So he goes to his father-in-law, ready to finally claim his bride. But Laban, a man who turns out to be just as cunning as Jacob himself, well, he had a different idea. He saw an opportunity.
Can you even begin to imagine the shock, the absolutely crushing weight of that moment? After 7 years, thousands of days spent dreaming of one face, Jacob wakes up on the morning after his wedding, and in the morning light, he sees the woman lying next to him, and it is not Rachel. It's her older sister, Leah. The deception is total. Laban had used the customs of the time, a bride with a heavy veil, a dark tent at night, to pull off the switch. The promise was for Rachel, the beautiful woman Jacob was so deeply in love with. The reality was Leah, her older sister. The betrayal was just complete. The man who waited so patiently for true love was now trapped in a lie.
And in that moment of gut-wrenching pain, Jacob was forced to confront a really bitter truth. The deception he was now a victim of, well, it felt strangely, horribly familiar.
Jacob goes straight to Laban, and his cry is just full of anguish. "Why have you deceived me?" And you have to wonder, as those words left his lips, they must have echoed deep in his own soul. "Why have you deceived me?" It's the very same question his blind father Isaac could have cried out to him all those years before.
This moment, it just perfectly illustrates a profound spiritual law. You reap what you sow. Jacob, the master deceiver, has now been masterfully deceived.
And listen, this isn't just some cosmic karma. This is the hand of a loving God, allowing Jacob to feel the full, bitter taste of the very same pain that he himself caused. It's a harsh lesson for sure, but a powerfully transformative one.
But here's the amazing part. Even in this absolute mess, even in the middle of all this human sin and failure and heartbreak, God's plan is not stopped. Not at all. In fact, this is where it gets truly amazing. God is about to work through this very pain, through this very deception, to accomplish his ultimate purposes.
So now Jacob's life is just an impossibly tangled knot. Laban's new deal is cruel. Work another 7 years, and then you can have Rachel too. So Jacob is completely trapped. He's married to 2 sisters, one he loves and one he doesn't, and he's now bound to his scheming father-in-law for 14 long years. It's just a messy, painful, heartbreaking reality.
But this is where God's providence just shines its brightest. He looks upon the unloved wife Leah, and in his mercy, he blesses her. And through the family line of this unwanted bride comes a son named Judah. And from Judah comes King David. And from the line of King David comes the Messiah himself, Jesus Christ. Do you see it? God took the most painful, broken piece of this whole story, Leah, the very symbol of the deception, and he made her the channel for the salvation of the entire world. It is just a breathtaking display of his power to redeem. So let's take this story with us today. Jacob's greatest heartbreak became the very instrument of God's greatest blessing. And it forces us to look at the broken pieces of our own lives, the disappointments, the betrayals, the things that just don't make sense, and to ask with real hope, where might God be at work right now, weaving my pain into a pattern for his glory?